You are listening to The Squeeze with Anthony Pasquazi on KSMR Radio, broadcasting live on 92.5 FM on campus and 94.3 FM in Winona, Minnesota, as well as online at smumn.edu/KSMR, KSMR Real College Radio. Welcome to The Squeeze with Anthony Pasquazi. We are broadcasting over two radio frequencies, as I just said, in Winona, 92.5 and 94.3 FM every Sunday from 11 to 1. We're also live streaming on YouTube under the channel name Anthony Pasquazi. Be sure to like and subscribe if you are watching us there. Also, feel free to join the conversation through the chat function of that YouTube live stream. You can also follow the show on Twitter at TheSqueeze4. You can follow our producer, Alec Rude, at AlecRude10, and myself at _Anthony Pass with one S. As always, we love to take your calls. Our phone number here at KSMR is 507-457-1615. Alec, it's been 3 long weeks, and we're back, baby. How we doing?
It's been good. No, it's last week we kind of had a little misjudgment. You were sick, and then my tennis match was going to happen, and then it got canceled because of snow. But, again, we can't do it, someone being sick. But it's good to be back. We have a lot to talk about today.
Yeah, a lot to talk about. Missing 3 weeks in a row. Not something that we want to do often, but it leads to a lot of content to be talked about for sure. We missed those 2 weeks because of spring break. And then unfortunately, as I did tweet out, I caught a little bit of a bug that's been running around St. Mary's. And it wouldn't have been a very good show.
You let me stay home for longer, too.
Exactly. I would have sounded like this. This is what the whole show would have been. 507-457-1615 is the phone number, and that is the phone number that you're going to call if you want to win a free Squeeze t-shirt. I am wearing one under this beautiful Jason Hayward jersey. The 16-second Squeeze is your chance to win a Squeeze t-shirt. How does it work, Alec? Well, you call in and go up against a recording of a St. Mary's student in a quick thinking trivia game where you name as many of one category as you can. Every show has up to 3 caller contestants, and the one with the largest margin of victory over their respective recording wins that Squeeze t-shirt. Highly coveted, that Squeeze t-shirt. Alec, you have one. I have like 3, and
mine's at home.
Oh, you forgot it. There you go. Is this the first show that you haven't worn that Squeeze t-shirt under the
representing Kansas today, though. Selection Sunday.
Selection Sunday. Big deal. Yeah, you're a big Kansas guy. I remember that. Yeah. Remember that from last year. How are they doing this year?
They'll be like a 4 or 5 seed. Not as good as they want to be, but they were ranked, I think, 17th in the latest poll, so they'll be like a 4 or 5 seed. But again, all the top guys are kind of up top: Duke, North Carolina, Virginia, and all them. So again, this is one of my favorite days of the year. It's gonna be a fun show. I think it's at 5 o'clock Central Time, I believe. So
okay, sounds good. Yeah. Well, later in the show, we have Alicia Schur coming on at 11:45. She is one of my teammates here on the track and field team. She's been wanting to come on the Squeeze for quite a long time. I told her she had to qualify for conference to do so, and well, she went out and qualified for 4 events. So very happy to have her on the show. I know she's going to be excited. Then at noon, we're having the very handsome, very talented, very athletic Anthony Pasquazi in. We're going to interview him. Alec is going to take the reins of the show and interview me. That's how that's going to go.
Chairs?
I think we're going to switch chairs. I think you get to be the driver. I get to be the interviewer, the interviewee, and I'm pretty excited to finally get interviewed for once. Then Andy Alleman is going to come in to talk NFL free agency. A lot has been happening, a lot of craziness. That's at 12:30, and then along the way we will be talking MLB rule changes, NFL free agency, and March Madness. March Madness is something. It's your favorite time of the year, isn't it? Is that
I love it. March is the best sport month of the year, I think.
It is. What you got March Madness.
You got Minnesota high school hockey.
Oh, how did that finish up? Who is that over?
Edina, the big powerhouse. They won it was an overtime though. The championship was an overtime, so 19,000 fans were there. So it was quite the atmosphere for high school hockey.
Where was it at? Where
it's where the Minnesota Wild plays, so the XL Energy Center. So that thing feels big time. But no, it was a blast. And this is the first year my dad couldn't go. His flight got moved up a day early, so he could not go to the championship. So he's kind of disappointed, but it was still fun to watch. But Edina, they won the whole thing.
Yeah, well, 3 weeks. 3 weeks have gone by. A lot of things have happened in the sporting world. A lot of things have happened in your life. You've had a couple tennis matches. You want to tell us about those?
Yeah, do I? No, unfortunately, we're on like a 5 or 6 game losing streak.
Don't really want to talk about it.
But okay. we just lost 6-3 to St. Olaf on Friday. Let's just say your boy had a little meltdown, choke. I don't know any other words you would like to implement, but I don't know any other synonyms for choke. but we lost 6-3. Let's just say that.
Asphyxiated.
Yeah.
Asphyxiated. I think that's
We're
a
4-7 overall. It's not the worst thing in the world, but we would like to be better.
Okay.
How's the track team doing?
Well, we haven't had a meet yet. There's about 3 feet of snow on the track. We have a meet in 13 days now, so hopefully that was 3
I
feet
saw
of
Neil
snow.
shoveling out there.
He's been hard at work. Hopefully he doesn't have a heart attack shoveling that very heavy snow now. Now it's practically ice. I mean, the odds that we have a track meet, slim. They're slim to none. But nevertheless, we will keep grinding and we will keep going. That's just what being a track athlete in Minnesota is like.
I just watch Neil's outside my dorm room every day. Just watch him shovel.
He hasn't made much progress.
No,
it's tough to make progress. Something that I did forget to preview. We are going to talk about Eli Cave at 11:39, a very specific time. I don't know why. Just right before Alicia Schurer comes in, and I'm just going to convince the world that he got absolutely robbed. There are some people who are telling me that he didn't get robbed and that he deserved second team All MIAC, and I don't see it.
For those of you who maybe are first time listeners, who is Eli Cave?
Eli Cave is arguably the second best player in the MIAC. He's a sophomore here at St. Mary's. He's a basketball player, so he's the second best basketball player in the MIAC, behind a first team All-American Booker Copeland. He had a breakout season this year, only a sophomore. He was hurt all of last season with a catastrophic knee injury, and then went out and averaged nearly 20 points a game. So I'm gonna convince you that he got absolutely robbed of a first team All MIAC. I mean, second team All MIAC is awesome. That's great for him. And I'm sure that he wouldn't be telling you that he got robbed or that he even cares. But I care. I care a whole heck of a lot. So I'm going to convince the world at 11:39.
Before it leaves my mind, but when I shared that too with you, Booker Copeland was academic All-American too, and then he's All-American for a player. That's crazy.
I think he has a 4.0 GPA.
That's what I love most about the MIAC. You have athletes like that. So just wanted to point that out. Shout out to him for that.
That's just not fair. He's good looking. He's great at basketball. He's got awesome hair, and he's a genius.
He's like you.
Nah, it's not. No, I wish I was Booker Copeland.
Academic.
No, definitely not. I wish I was Booker freaking Copeland.
James
he did
Cave.
get robbed. James Cave. Wink, wink. I like it. So we're going to talk about it. 11:39. Maybe call in 507-457-1615 if you want to join that conversation. But before we do so, MLB rule changes. MLB, I'm wearing the Jason Hayward jersey. The sun's out, blue skies. It's nearly 40 degrees. Today is the high. It feels like spring. And you know what happens during spring? MLB, baseball, baby. Baseball is my favorite sport. March Madness is one of your favorite events. Well, spring training is one of my favorite events. So we're going to talk MLB rule changes. Have you heard anything about this?
I was doing some research this morning. I like it a lot. They're for sure changing these, correct? Like it's all implemented and stuff.
So the ones that are coming in 2020, so that's next season, active roster provisions.
Wait,
so
this upcoming season.
So next season. We'll get this upcoming season after these ones. Active roster provision. So they're going to up the active roster from 25 players to 26 players, and after a doubleheader from 26 to 27. I think that's great. You know, more.
It doesn't seem like a big deal, but it is.
Yeah, that's a huge deal. It's going to prevent hopefully some more injuries, and it just gives more players an opportunity. We know how hard it is to make it in the major leagues, and that's 30 extra players that get to play on an active roster over the course of a season. I love that one. Now, this one is the most controversial one. This is the 3-batter minimum for relief and starting pitchers. I don't really love it. I mean, I get it. So basically, for those, let's whiteboard the rule. When a relief pitcher comes in, if it's at the beginning of an inning, he has to pitch for at least 3 batters before he can be substituted out.
The inning,
or if he closes out the inning, like let's say there's 2 outs, a man on first, and he gets somebody out, then he can come out of the game. This is to limit mound visits, to limit downtime during the game, and I think it's a good rule for that. But I'm worried that you're now eliminating the loogie. The loogie, that's one of the best things in baseball. The left-handed 1-out guy. I think that's what it is, the loogie. And if you have a guy who's coming in, he's playing for 3, or he's pitching for 3 batters, and he just, he's struggling, then you're going to load the bases, you're going to make the game longer, and it limits the strategy of a manager to not be able to substitute in specific pitchers for specific matchups.
Yeah, I agree with you. I guess you can look at it if there's 2 outs. I guess it's kind of the same exact rule. If he gets the next guy out, he closes out the inning. But I love the rule because I get sick of just seeing a guy come in for 1 batter and then leave. Like, what are you showing me? How like that's just strategy
guess.
right there. I want to
Just
see
get
actual. How would you do against righties and lefties? So that's gonna be interesting, I think. But I like it. That's in 2
next
years?
season. That's
Okay.
next season, not this coming season. And then the last change for next season is the injured list. They're bumping it back up to 15 days for the DL last season, and this season it's down to 10 games for the DL. But teams are able to take advantage of that because if a starting pitcher gets hurt, you put him on the DL, he only misses one start.
Yeah.
And basically it's just a rest day for him. So that's the rule changes for next season. And now these are the ones that are for this season. Now this one I like. I think it's a little arbitrary and kind of dumb.
I think I know.
The innings breaks. So
Yeah.
subject to discussions with broadcast partners, inning breaks will be reduced from 2 minutes, 5 seconds to 2 minutes in local games and from 2:25 to 2 minutes in national games. And that's a big difference. The commissioner's office retains the right to further reduce the breaks to 1:55 in local and national games for the start of the 2020 season, which is next season. So what are you going to do in those 5 seconds? What are you going to do with your life?
Less commercials.
It's 5 seconds less of commercials. Who cares?
It adds up.
Over the course of what are there? 9 innings, there are 18 inning breaks, 18 times 5. Carry the one. That's
games?
like a minute.
And how many games are there? It's gonna add up, dude.
Okay, so 162 minutes over the course of a
You
season.
gotta admit, people are starting to decrease for wanting to sit around for watching a whole baseball.
For sure, but I just think
And that's why they're doing the clock. Do they start the clock?
yes, that's it's a 2 minute and 5 second clock. Now it'll be down to a 2 minute clock. They don't have the pitch clock yet.
Yeah, okay.
That's not happening.
I didn't think so.
Yeah, that's in the minor
They
leagues.
tried it out. Yeah, okay.
It won't be in the majors. Now, this one I really like. This is the trade deadline. They're moving the waiver period. They're not moving it. They're getting rid of it. The July 31st trade deadline will be the only deadline. Thank the Lord. Every other sport has one trading deadline, and you can get all your papers in by that deadline, and then you're done. Your major moves for the season, and then it's over. But in baseball, we had this weird waiver trade deadline where you see Justin Verlander leaving the Tigers going to the Astros with 1 month left in the season. And, last year, Daniel Murphy to the Cubs. It's going to make teams pick a lane earlier in the year. And I think it's going to provoke a lot more action on the July 31st trade deadline. It's going to be a lot more like the NFL trade deadline or the NBA trade deadline, where there's all this news and there's a finality to it. There's, it's one event, and then from here on out, you can't do anything else. I really like that rule change.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree totally on everything you said.
And then these two are kind of goofy. It doesn't really matter. All-Star game, they're changing the voting to a more election-based system with, primaries, secondaries, a lot like the presidency. And then in the home run derby, the winner will win an extra $1 million. I love this rule. Hopefully you get more players in that event. What's your opinion on the home run derby?
I want to see the big guns.
Bryce Harper won it last year.
I saw a picture on Instagram where it said imagine this home run derby lineup, and it was just stacked. So
absolutely.
This is going to help a ton.
Yeah, and for somebody like Manny Machado, that $1 million, it really doesn't mean much. But for Kyle Schwarber, the guy who's only making $3 million a year, that's a 25% increase in his salary for the year. It's a 25% raise if he wins the home run derby. It's going to get a lot more guys in there. And like you said, just imagine if you had Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton, and Bryce Harper, just all these big boppers. Mike Trout, how cool would that be to have Mike Trout in a home run derby? So I really like that rule a lot. Then we have mound visits, which is just stupid. They implemented the rule last season, 6 mound visits.
I still think it's
now
too
it's
much.
5, but in reality, I think I only watch. I watch the Cubs mainly, and I watch almost every game. And I think I saw it happen once where they used all 6 mound visits last year. Okay. So the rule is just stupid. It's something to fight over.
I ump youth baseball, and I think you can visit each pitcher once before you take them out. So that's kind of the rule for that. So I think they should maybe I think there's too much. I think 5 is way too much. I would say 3 or 4.
3 or 4, but then, yeah, I guess you're right. It just speed up the game. More action. That's what we want. That's what us millennials want, our short attention spans. Alec Rude, your last name is Rude. Give us your rude thought for the day.
Yeah. That was a good one.
Thanks.
So basically, for those of you who don't know, Tyreek Hill, again, it's not, say the word, I can't say it, alleged.
It's alleged.
Okay, yeah, so right now, alleged is for battery right now, and again, the Chiefs, we know Kareem Hunt, you and I just looked up some stuff about it again. I don't know what your take is, but I think the Chiefs, like you said, Andy Reid, he gives players second chances, but this is Hill and Hunt in college. They were a mess. A little bit.
They had other
and now
allegations.
they're just. If you do this again, and now Tyreek Hill, you see Hunt suspended for 8 games coming up this season. Like, obviously nothing's come out again, but I want to get your take on what you like. Just think about the whole thing, and if again now pressure's on Mahomes, Kelsey, and even Andy Reid of what could happen too, and now the NFL might get some scrutiny too because again it's just the NFL constant.
Yeah, the NFL more than any other sport, you have these off the field issues. From just a football standpoint, the Chiefs just lost the best running back in the NFL a couple years ago and one of the best weapons in the NFL in Tyreek Hill. If Tyreek Hill is suspended or they cut him like they did with Kareem Hunt, you just lost 2 of the 25 best players in the NFL, and you're going to continue. I mean, that's tough just from a football standpoint, but from a off the field look on it, Andy Reid, like you said, has a very well-known philosophy of giving guys a second chance. He believes that they deserve that second chance, and he's going to foster an environment that'll allow them to rehabilitate themselves. But now this is 2 guys in a row. That's 2 drafts in a row where your second and third round picks had issues off the field in college. You picked them anyways, and now they have issues off the field in the NFL. You have to admit, if you're Andy Reid, maybe what you're doing isn't right. Maybe you shouldn't give these guys a second chance because it's come back to bite you in the butt twice now. I mean, he did it with Mike Vick. We talked about that in sports management, and that was better. Mike Vick did rehabilitate himself, and Andy Reid was a great, liaison for that, for Mike Vick to rehabilitate himself. But you just got to wonder, when is it enough? I mean,
and the investigation is still going. Like, this ain't official.
It's not official. He hasn't been suspended.
Yeah, but again, with March Madness and stuff going on, I feel like you didn't even hear about it originally. I feel like that's kind of gone under the radar for a lot of people. Like, I think he's one of the best wide receivers in the NFL with his speed. Like the Chiefs, I don't think they have any other wide receivers that are capable of now everything is Travis Kelce, like everything. So it's going to be interesting to see, especially for you have the best quarterback in the league maybe right now. So I think that's going to be very interesting. But that is your root thought.
There you go, root thought. We should make like a soundbite or something. I should get into vocal editing if I knew how to do that. 507-457-1615 is the phone number. That's how you're going to win your Squeeze t-shirt in the 16-second Squeeze. 507-457-1615. We're going to take it to break here. And coming up after break, I'm going to let you know how the track team finished up in the indoor season. We have 3 athletes who earned all region honors there, as well as talking about the baseball team and how they did over spring break, and the softball team. Both of them went down to Florida. So 507-457-1615 is the phone number. That's what we're going to talk about after the break.
Hold yourself. Only 20 minutes until you let Gabe get wrapped.
Only 20 minutes.
Stay calm.
We're getting
Stay
there.
calm.
We're getting there. 11:39. I'm going to blow up. I'm very agitated by the fact that he didn't do it. 507-457-1615 is the phone number. What's the best way to gear up for Townie this year, Alec Rude? How about a night of running, dancing, and partying with DJ Charco? That's exactly what Light Up the Night 3K on Friday, April 26th is. It's a night to exercise with friends and support your fellow students. The event is free to St. Mary students, and the run starts at 8 p.m., followed by a DJ Charco concert at 9 p.m. Dance yourself into Townie during this incredible event. We'll be right back here on The Squeeze with Anthony Pasquesi and Alec Rude. You are listening to The Squeeze with Anthony Pasquazi and Alec Root on KSMR Radio, broadcasting live on 92.5 FM on campus and 94.3 FM in Winona, Minnesota, as well as online at smumn.edu/KSMR. KSMR Real College Radio. That was a nice little break. You know, we went a little bit long. That was 20 minutes here on The Squeeze. It's already 11:21. Things are rolling, and so is the track team. That was a bad segue. I tried really hard there.
It's good, isn't it?
507-457-1615 is the phone number. No 16-second squeeze callers. That's okay. 507-457-1615. Let's talk about that track team. This is courtesy of Donnie Nadeau, our very talented sports information director. The St. Mary's University of Minnesota track and field teams collected 4 All-Minnesota Intercollegiate Athletic Conference first team honors at the indoor season-ending conference championships in late February. And Monday, the postseason awards continued to pile up for the Cardinals as David Kemper, Desmond Stewart, and Rachel Odie were among those named All-Region for the indoor track and field season by the U.S. Track and Field and Cross Country Association. The top 5 individuals in each event from each region earned all-region distinction, in addition to each of the members of the region's top 3 relay teams. The regions used for this award: Atlantic, Central, Great Lakes, Mideast, Midwest, New England, South, Southeast, and West. Match those used during the cross-country season. Stewart, a first-team All-MIAC indoor performer in both the long and triple jumps this season, earned his second USTF CCCA indoor all-region honor in the triple jump, uncorking a season-best leap of 14.07 meters at the MIAC Indoor Championships on February 21st. And if you ask him about it, he wouldn't be happy with it because that's just the way Desmond Stewart is. An outdoor all-region performer in 2017, Kemper, who placed 3rd in the pole vault at the MIAC Indoor Championships to earn all MIAC first team honors, returned to the USTF-CCA postseason awards stage in 2019, clearing 4.61 meters at the St. Thomas Showcase on February 8th. Very good to see him back on top. His sophomore year made it to nationals, very close to being an All-American pole vaulter, and then last year did not height once in all of indoor season. So he did not clear one bar as a junior last year. He came back dedicated this season. He lost about 20 pounds. He looks like he's in the best shape of his life. Very happy to see him earn the All-MIAC and All-Region honors. Hopefully he'll get that All-American, a very elusive All-American in the outdoor season. And then Odie, only a sophomore, had a breakout indoor season in 2019 as the sophomore finished 1st or 2nd in every high jump competition she was entered in this season. A 2nd-place finisher and All-MIAC first teamer at the 2019 Indoor Conference Championships. Odie recorded her all-region high jump mark of 1.66 meters at the University of Minnesota Parents' Day Open on February 16th. Very happy to see that sophomore, Rachel Odie, only a sophomore, performing as well as she did this season. You know who else performed very well over spring break?
Baseball.
Men's baseball team. Actually, that's kind of funny. Every time I Google the SMUMN men's baseball team, I put men's in there for some reason. There's no women's baseball. It's called softball. You know, like it's just, I don't get it. We're so used to men's and women's basketball that I just type in SMUMN men's baseball. And it's just, I feel dumb every single time. And yet I continue to do it. But alas, we are here. So the St. Mary's University of Minnesota men's baseball team went 6-4 over their 10-game spring trip down there in Florida. They take it every single year. How did they swing that? How did they swing that every year? Them and the softball team.
It's a full week.
Wait a minute, you went to Florida too.
Yeah.
Before we get to the baseball team, how did you do down there?
We only had one match and we played a really good team, but it was fun.
I mean, any stories?
It was a blast. We got to play at their national complex has like over 100 tennis courts at like one complex.
Oh wow!
And like some are like clay as well. So like every night or one night each year we do like a mixed doubles tournament within our teams, and a bunch of the parents come and watch and stuff. So that was probably one of the best times. But yeah, it's fun to play on clay because up here there's no like clay courts really. So that was a blast. So
yeah, cool experience. The track team. Once every 2 years, I think we take a trip. We went to San Diego last year, and of course, I couldn't compete because, you know.
And then we're going to England next year.
Things happen. You're going to England?
Yeah.
What the heck?
We're not in Florida next year, though. We go every 3 years ago to England.
Oh,
besides
sorry. You're not
Florida.
going to Florida. You're going to a different country. I
For
apologize.
2.5 weeks.
Okay, let's stop talking about you and your privileged tennis team. Let's talk about the baseball team. They won 6 of their 10 games, all of them on a neutral field, obviously down there in Florida, and no conference games. They started out very hot, winning their first 4 against Cabrini University and then 3 straight against the Milwaukee School of Engineering. Makes me question just how good the Milwaukee School of Engineering is.
It was good games. 13-8, 5-3, and
10-2.
Okay.
Okay.
But the first 2, that's close.
I don't know.
Especially for baseball. Like,
Are engineers good at baseball?
I don't know. Their tennis team is not good.
See, I think if you're, it's hard to be Booker Copeland. Okay, it's hard to be a genius and also be a really good athlete. So to me, most of the time, if you're smart, you're not good at sports.
But their next game, they face technology school.
Oh, and there you go. You lost that one. They lost their next 2 to Rolls-Hulman Institute of Technology and Capital University, 18-14. Oh boy, someone got lit up in that
I
game.
was
I
on
think it was-
Twitter for
it
the
Eli
updates,
Morrison?
and it was
I
just
think he gave up
constant.
six runs in that game. That's tough for the left-hander. He's actually a fun guy to watch, Eli Morrison. He's a left-hander. He's a short guy, and he doesn't throw a lot of fastballs. He only throws curveballs. It's cool to watch. He only gave up 1 home run.
It was not him.
Oh, it wasn't him.
It was freshman Klemensky.
Oh, how many runs did he give up? 5, 6.
6.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. 507-457-1615 is the phone number if you want to comment on that guy giving up 6 runs in his probably freshman debut. Ooh, only up from here, buddy. 507-457-1615 is the phone number.
Well, he's a junior. My bad.
Oh my gosh.
fault. Junior.
We're off today.
My bad.
We're so ishy. We're so ishy. We're rusty.
Semensky. My bad.
Semensky. Oh
My
yeah,
bad.
he's a transfer from Viterbo.
Okay.
That's the problem. See,
same thing.
We got to the end of basketball and hockey. We were so knowledgeable about it. We really know the teams. We know the coaches. We have, relationships with everybody. But we're just starting here for
He's
baseball.
transfer. That's it.
We're just starting here for
He's a
baseball.
freshman.
We don't. It's like why I didn't get anybody on the show today, because the baseball players don't know the squeeze yet. But hey, they will. They will know the squeeze. 507-457-1615 is the phone number. This is going absolutely nowhere. John Carroll, they lost 1 against them, and then they won their last one on Sunday at 10 a.m. And then they had to come all the way back here to Minnesota to 3 feet of snow on the ground. So that was great for them. But standouts over the break. Matthew Pachowski, he was MIAC Player of the Week, of course. They were the only team who played, so that makes sense. Him and James Green both awarded that award.
Green's on, man.
Yeah, gosh,
12
that
innings
guy.
pitched, 2 earned runs.
He's so good. We're watching a Cy Young pitcher in the MIAC. That's what he is. He's the Clayton Kershaw of the MIAC. He was Rookie of the Year last year. He had a sub-2 ERA, and he's on point already. He had 16 strikeouts in 12 innings. He only walked 2 guys. He only gave up 6 hits. He has a .6 whip at the moment. I mean, that's oh gosh. And he's a starting
16
pitcher.
strikeouts.
You're going to win every game that he pitches. He's going to give up 2 runs maximum. And I mean, he's super fun to watch. And you know what? Couldn't happen to a better guy, because he just works his butt off. Just like you say, Sawyer Rosner, he's always in the gym. He's always in the classroom. James Green is the same way. I swear, every time I'm in the rack at 11 o'clock, reffing intramural basketball, doing exactly what I love to do, James Green is in there doing dry work. And sometimes I feel like we talked to Andy Tepp, and he said that he works too hard sometimes. He's going to hurt himself. But clearly he's on right now with that 1.5 ERA. Won both of those games, 12 innings pitched, only 6 hits given up, only 2 earned runs, and an opposing batting average of 150.
Only 2 walks, too.
Oh, my gosh. I could talk about Jimmer all day long. Hopefully we'll have him on the show sometime in the near future. James Green. So he was MIAC Player of the Week. But, hey, we didn't even get to talk about Matthew Pachowski. He was MIAC Player of the Week, too. He played in all 10 games. He had a .429 batting average, a .600 slugging percentage, and a .524 on base percentage. And if you add those together, you get this thing called OPS, on base plus slugging. And that was a smooth 1124. If he keeps that up, he might win MIAC Player of the Year. Of course, I said that with Eli Cave at the beginning of his season, and that didn't happen. So we'll see. Matthew Pachowski, if he can keep that up. He played in all 10 games. He had 15 hits, 1 double, 1 triple, and the lone home run for the Cardinals over the spring trip. He also led the team in RBIs with 12. Man, he had a very good outing. He also had a .929 fielding percentage with 13 putouts, only 1 error. And the team in general, I mean, they out-hit their opponents, they out-pitched their opponents, and I believe that they scored 86 runs to their opponent's 69, so that's a very smooth 17-run differential. We all know the Squeeze loves run and point differential, so we'll be paying attention to that all season long. I mean, over the course of 10 games, 17-run differential, you keep that up, this team will make the playoffs.
They have 8 players that have at least a 300 batting average, and 7 of those 8 players played in 8 out of the 10 games. So that's very, very successful for hitting. Whoever's a hitting coach, props to him.
Look at you, dude. Attaboy. That was some good stuff there.
What?
You know baseball, huh? I'm just going to be condescending to you because you were condescending to me with hockey.
I played baseball till high school.
Well, baseball is my favorite sport, and hockey's your favorite sport, and you said that I didn't know anything about
I know
hockey.
a lot about baseball.
Okay, whatever. Didn't mean to offend you, but
I know a ton.
I just wanted to make sure. We're on the same page here. Andy Tepp had a great spring, 375. He had, 11 RBIs as well. Liam Bellevue, he only had 27 at-bats. He had 3 doubles and 2 triples. That's awesome for him. I believe he's a junior as well. This is an exciting team. This is the team to watch over the spring. Softball, still developing. We're not going to see a lot from them. We need Amber Chow to really step up. She's a sophomore pitcher. We need her to really step up. We'll talk about that in just a moment. Softball, not much to look at there. Track is a tough spectator sport, I will admit. Same with tennis. So men's baseball, again, as opposed to women's baseball. I don't know why. It's just such a habit for me. Baseball is going to be the team to watch here during the spring, and hopefully we'll get to know these guys a little bit better as well as the coaches. I think talking to them this spring will be very good, and hopefully they actually get to play some baseball because at the moment it's not looking like they will. But what'd you say? April 1st is their first home game. Hopefully by then that snow will be melted. April 6th. April 6th. Okay. So that's against St. Olaf. Remember last year, for those of you who don't know, maybe you were listening, maybe you weren't, or maybe you weren't following baseball. I don't know. The St. Mary's men's baseball team, I hate myself every time I say it, lost in the first round of the playoffs to Gustavus. I believe St. Mary's was the 3rd seed.
Yep.
Is that correct? Yeah.
Gustavus
Now only 4 teams make the playoffs this year. So it's going to be tough if they play how we know they can play. And if James Green continues with a 1.5 ERA all season, which sounds absurd, but he did it last year, this team is going to be very good. I mean, you go out there and you win every 3rd start basically with James Green, and that's a winning formula. Ryan Wolf as well. He had an awesome showing. I believe he had a sub-3 ERA. Yep, 2.61. Cody Keel came out of the bullpen, shut it down. And then Tyler Stilp, his ERA is a little inflated. He had 1 bad outing, but he's a guy to watch. I've really talked to him a lot about his pitching this season. And last year was his first season as a submarine pitcher in his career. Now, he's a righty, he's a pitcher, and he had never thrown submarine in his life. And then he just started goofing around in practice one day, and his pitching coach said, maybe we should go with this. So last season was his first year as a sub pitcher. He walked a lot of guys. Learning that new arm slot. But this year, in 6 innings, he only walked 2 guys. And yes, he had that inflated ERA. But he's going to be a guy to watch. If you have Cody Keel and Tyler Stilp coming out of that bullpen, that's a lockdown bullpen. Pair that with James Green, Ryan Wolf, and some good veteran play from Eli Morrison. They might have one of the best pitching staffs in the Minnesota Intercollegiate Athletic Conference.
For sure.
Man, I'm getting excited. I hadn't really talked about this with anybody until now. This might be a good season. This might be a good season really good. For this baseball team. And I'm very excited to sit back, relax, and watch some baseball games. There's just something about baseball, man. Remember last year we had just started the Squeeze. We were going to the games. It's warm outside, double headers. You get off of class and you just head to the baseball field. Yeah, it's just crack of the bats, crack of the gloves.
Tennis is over.
Tennis ends? Really?
Right when that starts, yeah. So no practice, just get to go chill.
Oh, we didn't even mention it. Alec will not be here for the next 3 weeks due to tennis. So I'll be on my own. I'll have to find multiple radio wives. I believe next week we're going to have Andy Alleman. He's going to be sitting in your producer's chair. He's coming on later today at 12:30. Alec, I think we need to send it to break here. We've been talking a little bit too much about baseball. And after break, you know what we're doing. Eli Cave. I'm going to convince you how this man got robbed. And it's not really that in-depth. because it doesn't need to be, because these statistics are so obvious and everyone understands them. I don't have to tell you about efficiency rating. I don't have to tell you about usage rating. Just look at his points per game, his rebounds per game, his assists per game. It's just, sorry, you see, you got me started already. 507-457-1615 is the phone number. We're going to send it to break right here. Call that one if you want to win a Squeeze t-shirt. 507-457-1615 is that phone number to call. And right after break, Eli Cave, I'm making my case for why he should have been first team all MIAC. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back. You are listening to The Squeeze with Anthony Pasquazi, produced by Alec Root on KSMR Radio, broadcasting live on 92.5 FM on campus and 94.3 FM in Winona, Minnesota, as well as online at smumn.edu/KSMR. KSMR Real College Radio. 507-457-1615 is the phone number if you want to win that Squeeze t-shirt. But ding, 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 ring a ding, ding. What time is it? 11:39. That's when we're talking about Eli Cave. Okay. Let me whiteboard it for you yet again if you weren't listening earlier in the show. Eli Cave had one of the best seasons a St. Mary's basketball player has ever had. He brought the team from 0 MIAC wins and 1 win last season to a great record. They beat Gustavus twice. You know, they should have beat Carleton twice. If things went their way, they could have made the playoffs, and Eli Cave was a big reason why. I tweeted out a long time ago, their point differential was negative 574 or something like that last season. Their point differential this year, negative 110. So that's about, 450 points. How many points did Eli Cave score this season? Around 450. He literally was one of, if not the biggest reason for this turnaround for this St. Mary's team. Now, that's not even the reasoning of why I believe that Eli Cave deserves first team all MIAC, because that's not comparing him to who actually won first team all MIAC.
You're getting heated.
I'm angry. When I saw it, I honestly was fuming. Okay. The two guys who totally deserve to be on this list of first team all MIAC, Booker Copeland, 28 points per game, 9.4 rebounds per game, and 3.3 assists per game. That's ridiculous. He's amazing. He's the LeBron of the MIAC. He won Player of the Year. He's going to win Player of the Year next year. He's only a junior. He deserves it. You know who else deserves it? Anders Nelson. Only a freshman. St. Thomas went to the final 8 or Elite 8, 14 points per game, 5 rebounds per game, nearly 5 assists per game. That's basically averaging a triple-double, in Division III basketball terms.
Yeah.
He also just won D3 Hoops Rookie of the Year. So he deserves to be on this list just as much as Booker Copeland does. Now, the rest of these schmucks, Granger Kingland, David Stokeman, Austin Corba, and Connor Bear, they don't deserve to be on this list. Maybe they do deserve to be on this list, but they don't deserve to be on this list ahead of Eli Cave. Eli Cave averaged 19.6 points per game, 7 rebounds per game, and nearly 4 assists per game. There was one player who averaged more points per game than Eli Cave. You know what his name was?
Booker
Copeland. There was two players who averaged more rebounds per game than Eli Cave. What are their names? Booker Copeland and Granger Kingland. There was one player who averaged more assists per game than Eli Cave. What was his name? Anders Nelson. So the only 2 players who were better than Eli Cave this year were the MIAC Player of the Year, First Team All-American, and Anders Nelson, Rookie of the Year in Division III basketball. Those were the only 2 guys better this season than Eli Cave. But Eli Cave doesn't make the team. I don't get it. Okay, Alec, be the devil's advocate. I know you kind of agree with me.
I do agree, 100%, but you're making me be the advocate.
I know. I'm saying just be the devil's advocate and tell me why Eli Cave doesn't deserve to be on First Team All-MIAC. In reality, this doesn't really matter. Again, if you asked Eli, he probably doesn't really care. Being All-MIAC second team is not a slight. It's very impressive. But to me, it hurts. It just hurts. Okay.
I'm repeating myself again. I do agree with you.
Okay.
You just want me to get
just
points.
Be the devil's advocate.
I do agree
just
with
be the
you.
devil's advocate.
Okay, so you're looking at all the – there's 6 – yeah, why is there 6 guys? There's 6 guys on the first team. But, again, we have – so the other 2 guys, David Stokeman from St. John's, how good St. John's was this year. I feel like the MIAC just felt like they would have to put someone on that team.
Yeah.
That's my point of view.
He also, I will say, David Stokeman led the league in 3-point shooting. So that's pretty
He's really good. And then Connor Bear from St. Thomas. Okay, this is the one I don't get at all.
I don't get it.
So – I had his stats pulled up, but Connor Bear, he averaged 14 points, and that's like that's second for St. Thomas. But St. Thomas, they made the Sweet 16.
They did,
but
okay.
I don't. But the thing is, I can't be advocate, dude.
You literally can't.
I agree with you.
You can't tell me. So I think the one devil's advocate argument is that he was on St. Mary's. St. Mary's sucked compared to the rest of the MIAC. I mean, they were the second worst team in the standings. So maybe
tied for last.
Tied for last with McAllister. Maybe he didn't deserve it because of that, but this is not a team award. It shouldn't matter how the team performed. That's not what this is about. This is about all MIAC, individual awards. And you cannot sit here and tell me that Eli Cave was not one of the 6 best players in the MIAC. He was arguably the 3rd best. He was arguably the 2nd best behind Anders Nelson, or ahead of Anders Nelson.
In that game, he was a lot better than Anders Nelson.
I mean, I think it's absolutely absurd, the fact that whatever. I've lost control of my ability to speak. Alicia Schur, come on in. Very excited to talk to you. I know you're excited to talk to us. And that was quite heated. I'm very happy with how reserved I stayed. Alicia Schur.
Hi.
Cozy on up to that microphone. Say hi to the people.
Hey guys, what's up?
What's up is we're talking to you. We're very excited to be talking to Alicia Schur.
Yep.
Schur. She's a freshman here on the St. Mary's track team. And I already told the people, I said, you've wanted to come on the show for quite a long time.
I have, ever since I heard that you had a radio show. I'm like, Squeeze, I got to be on it.
And what did I tell you?
You said I would if I made it to conference.
And what did you do?
Made it to conference.
At a girl. So you made the 60-meter, qualified for the 60-meter,
Yep.
200-meter, 4x2.
And 4x4.
And 4x4. So full boat there. And where was indoor conference?
It was at St. Olaf.
St. Olaf,
yep,
okay.
In Northfield.
Northfield. And that was your first time running at St. Olaf, correct?
Yep, that was correct.
Beautiful track there.
Oh, love it.
How did you perform personally, and then how did the relay teams do?
Personally, I was very nervous, as any freshman would be going into the conference meet. But I have a great support system, coaches and teammates. Made me feel really good, and I had a great performance.
Okay, awesome. And did you come close to PRs or anything like that?
I hit 2 PRs. I didn't make any PRs,
Okay.
but same times.
Awesome.
Relays did awesome. We keep dropping times. Can't wait to see what outdoor is going to be like.
Yeah, so you're a freshman. You're at St. Mary's. Not the best track program yet.
Not yet.
We're gonna turn it around. I promise. That's what we're here for.
Mhm.
What got you here? What got you to St. Mary's?
100% the coach. Niels is a great guy. Also, when I came on my tour, I ate lunch with the team. Team atmosphere is amazing. It's like you get on campus and you're like, this is it. Had that feeling.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think I could retweet. Hit
Yes,
the old retweet
hit the little
button
retweet.
on that statement. And then outdoor season. You're from, where are you from?
I'm
You're
from Forest Lake, up in the cities.
Forest Lake. So you're kind of used to, it being cold.
Yep.
How did high school track go for you in terms of weather?
Weather, same weather we're dealing
gosh,
with now. One meet, we actually had to shovel the track. We had to get to Stillwater 2 hours early so we could help the team shovel.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah, we had one lane open on the backstretch.
It's funny when Niels recruited me to be on the track team. He didn't tell me about that. He called it the Miami of Minnesota.
The
is what he
Miami of
called-
Minnesota.
Is what he called Winona. So down in Chicago, it's chilly, but there's
Yeah.
no snow on the ground
No,
in
yeah.
March. There's no snow on the ground in April. By the time that comes around, it melts. So I'm not excited to do this. Are you? I mean, how excited are you for outdoor season?
I'm so excited for outdoor season. A little nervous, but just based off of how indoor season went, I'm excited to see what outdoor season will come.
Because in Minnesota track, there is no indoor season, correct? So this was your first.
Well, no, not technically. We do have a couple
Okay.
indoor meets, but not an indoor season. So we go to University of River Falls twice in high school, and that's our indoor season per se.
Okay. So how was it dealing with indoor track? It's a whole different animal compared to
Mhm.
outdoor track. And I mean, just how did you adjust to being inside all the time?
Training wise, it was kind of difficult. There's a lot of people in the rack all the time. Breathing was really hard, the air, but you adjust to it well. Once you get used to the workouts, it gets better as you go.
Shin splints tough?
Oh,
Anything?
prehab and rehab every day.
Absolutely.
Every day.
And I will say, this is not about me. This is about Alicia. But I will say, there's no person that smiles more than Alicia every single day in and out of the workouts than you. So, I mean, how do you keep that positive attitude every single workout?
Well, you just got to think about if everyone else is going to be negative, you have to be the positive one.
Someone has to do it.
Someone has to do it. And yeah, it sucks, but we're here for a reason. We're here because we love track. You just got to keep reminding yourself that.
Absolutely. And did you play hockey in high school?
I did play hockey.
Did you have any thoughts about maybe playing hockey here or no?
No, I wouldn't want to play the actual team. I would love to play club hockey if they had a women's club hockey team, but the only time they do is during the spring. Track season. But I love hockey. Grew up playing hockey. 14 years of my life was dedicated to it. Yeah.
So Alec is a big Minnesota high school hockey fan.
I'm a big high school hockey fan as well.
Okay, here we go. So I don't get it. I don't get it at all. I don't understand why you guys.
We're in Forest Lakes Conference for my school.
Really?
Hastings. Okay, there you go.
Hastings.
So I don't get the appeal of watching a bunch of prepubescent 16-year-olds on ice, but y'all
18-year-olds.
really enjoy it. So just tell me, you Alicia first, tell me, and then Alec, what is so intriguing about watching high schoolers play hockey?
Well, have you been to the state of Minnesota? We're the state of
Not
hockey.
really. I guess.
We're the state of hockey. It's just a culture. Everyone it's the one thing that everyone in the state can really bond with. And everyone has different opinions about these players and those players and teams wise, it's very competitive. Very competitive.
Anthony, there's a pond hockey tournament where there's 100 teams just on one pond, and they played play pond hockey the whole day. That's all they did the whole day.
Has the pond ever melted?
No.
I don't know.
It's a pond. They don't
It's a
melt
pond.
here.
Okay, and it is very cold. You're right. So enough about hockey, because I don't want to talk about hockey anymore. That was your one cue. You even said before the show started, you're like, do I have to
I
talk
don't
to
know
her?
nothing about track.
You're like, do I have to talk
absolutely
to
nothing
her?
about track.
But hey, you got to talk to her.
We'll talk about the state tournament later.
Yeah.
That's better.
How was your team? How was your high school team in hockey?
We were really good. Well, we had a very young team when I was a sophomore, junior, and they were a really good group of girls. They won state their 12 years, so
Wow.
we had a very young team. I think we had quite a few girls go D2, D3 hockey. I think the junior crew actually has 2 commits to Boston College and Penn State.
Wow. Even I mean,
I remember Forest Lake
Yep.
was good. Yeah.
We have
Miracle.
Penn State goalie Cohen.
wow. I mean,
Hastings was
miracle.
not good.
All those guys, they're from
We were
Minnesota,
bad.
Boston College. So
Oh,
there
the
you go.
boys team's better for course. Like,
Oh yeah.
not the
Casey
best.
doesn't either. We're bad. We're bad at everything.
Okay, back to track.
Back
and then,
to track.
And then I'll
Sorry.
get you out of here. So, what is your favorite event? You did your first indoor season here. Did you like the 60, or are you more of a 100 girl, 200?
You see, I'm not much of a 60 person. I run it just so we could get the times. I'm more of a 200 runner.
Wait, sorry, pause. Just so we can get the times. You qualified for conference as a freshman. Come on,
Yeah.
give yourself a little bit more credit there.
It's just I like the 200 probably. 200 and I just started running 400s again this indoor season because we needed another runner. So the coaches had me run 400s. I'm like, I'm not terrible at them, but I'm excited for the 400 this outdoor season.
There you
200s
go.
and 400s.
Okay, 200s and 400s. Team player right there. Do you know
Yeah.
what the 400 is, Alec?
Nope.
Oh, yeah. In high school, many a times did my coach come walk up to me and say, "Oh, you're doing the 400." And every time I complained and I weaseled my way out of it a couple times. But Niels knows.
No.
I'm not about that. So what a team player for you to step up and fill those shoes in arguably the hardest event in track and field.
It's also the best event. It's the funnest event to watch. 4x400
That's
hands
true.
down.
That's true. You're right. I guess I've never really
I haven't done
experienced
the
it.
open 4 yet, but I've only done 4x4s, and those are really fun.
Okay, well, you do have a YouTube channel, I think.
Yeah.
Are you still active on the YouTube channel?
No.
So you don't want to advertise
No,
it?
I don't want to advertise.
Okay, well, I had done some
I
research.
appreciate
She
it.
had a YouTube channel.
Me and my
I
roommate
guess.
did.
Okay, yeah, you did, but not anymore. That's okay. Do you
It's
want to
okay.
want to plug anything else you got going?
Outdoor season's on the way, guys. Get ready to come. Long meets, but they're fun.
Yeah, I think we have 2 home meets.
Mm-hmm.
So March 30th is our first one,
Yep.
and then April.
April 3rd,
Yeah. So
3rd or something.
and then a lot of it, we have 3 meets at lacrosse too. So
Yep.
you can make that trip over there. Alec and I did it for basketball season. So again, track meets are very long, but they're fun, and it's good to be outside on
Yeah.
a Saturday.
Get us some sun. You can hop around from event to event.
Yeah, absolutely. So 507-457-1615 is the phone number. Alicia, you're actually a winner of a squeeze t-shirt
I
from the
am.
16-second squeeze. Do you remember what your category was?
Yes, it was dog breeds.
Dog breeds.
I had dog breeds.
Very impressive stuff. I don't remember that one, but hey, you won the squeeze
I
t-shirt.
did win the squeeze t-shirt.
And now you don't get one now because you already won one. So there you go. 507-457-1615 is the phone number. We will be right back after the break. We're going to talk about softball because we actually pushed that back, and then we're going to interview that really awesome guy, Anthony Pasquesi. I'm very excited. I'm very excited to hear what he has to say. 507-457-1615 is the phone number. We will be right back. Thank you so much, Alicia.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. You are listening to The Squeeze with Anthony Pasquesi, produced by Alec Rude on KSMR Radio, broadcasting live on 92.5 FM on campus and 94.3 FM in Winona, Minnesota, as well as online at smumn.edu/KSMR. KSMR Real College Radio. Alec, what's the phone number?
I don't know.
How do you not know?
I know the last 3, 4, 5, 7, 16, 15.
There you go. 507
I don't know
457
507.
16 15. Attaboy. See, you're getting there. You're like 70% of the way there.
I was thinking about March Madness when you were talking about it.
507 457 1615 is the phone number. Nobody wants a t-shirt. That's fine. 507 457 1615. Before we talk to Anthony Pasquesi, we're going to talk about softball.
That just sounds weird.
It does sound kind of funny, but hey, I'm excited. I once I figured out that we weren't going to get a baseball player on, I was like, you know what? Let's just interview me. It'll be fun.
I didn't want one.
507 457 1615. And then in 3 weeks, we'll interview Alec Root. I promise. We'll do it. Okay? 507 457 1615. The softball team did not share in the same success that the baseball team did. They have an overall record of 4-8. They just had 2 games pretty recently against Luther College. They lost both of those. So they were inside. Yep. They were 4-6. Actually, inside. Remind me about that later when we have a Lowland conversation that will inevitably happen. I have something to say to you about St. Mary's and something being inside. But they lost two straight to Luther College. That was not in Florida. They went 4-6 in Florida out of their 10 games. And to be honest, I don't understand softball like I understand baseball. I know most of the statistics are the same, but I don't know what is a good average. Because I remember last year talking about Paige Gunminson. She had, a 470 batting average, and I didn't really understand how that was possible. And then we went to a game and realized, well, she lays down drag bunts every single at bat because that's just her role. So I don't understand the roles of softball players as much as maybe some do, and I'm sure we'll get a lot better at that the more games that we go to. But, we can't have as nuanced of a conversation as we can about baseball, with softball. But, most of the statistics are the same. So we'll let you know what those were. The things that I circled on this statistics sheet were the overall team against their opponents, because they paint a pretty bleak picture for how this season may turn out for the softball team. They batted .234 over their 10 game or over their 12 games so far this season. Their opponents .302. So we're not hitting and our opponents are hitting. Slugging percentage, we have an abysmal .263 slugging percentage and an on-base percentage of .329. So there's a lot of slap hits, a lot of slap singles. Paige Gunminson actually is not up to her, .450 batting average that she had last season. She's down at .250, but it's not looking good right now. We're not hitting. The other teams are hitting. And then on the pitching end,
we've used 3 pitchers.
That's the other thing.
In 12 games, though, that's crazy.
That's the other thing. In baseball, it's an over the hand or it's an over the shoulder, over the head release. So it hurts. It hurts the elbow. It hurts the shoulder. The shoulder's not meant to function in that way. It's meant to go underhand. So softball players, they can pitch 700 innings a season and be totally fine. That's something that I didn't understand last year when I saw Amber Chow was starting every single game. How is that possible? Because it doesn't hurt. There's not as much of a taxing that's put on the elbow and on the shoulder. So you'll see it's going to be Signe, Amber, and Amber. That's it.
Signe's only pitched 6 innings. So out of 82, 73 of it's 2 pitchers. That's crazy.
That's what it's going to be. It's going to be Amber Chow, the sophomore, and Amber Trendle, the senior. As a pitching staff, they pitched to an ERA of 3.43, while the opponent's ERA was 2.04. And then the same thing with strikeouts. This is a huge number. St. Mary's only struck out 27 people in their 12 games. Their opponents, or them, they've struck out 62 times so far this season. So I don't know what needs to change, but something needs to change. We're pretty ignorant to what needs to change because we haven't been to a game yet, but once we get out there, we will tell you. And then a batting average against .234 is what we've been batting, and .302 is what we have pitched. So things not looking too good for the softball team. Things looking great for the baseball team. I will say this is the old squeeze adage. This team is young. This team is developing. This team will get better. It's just I don't see it happening this season for that softball team. I'm going a little bit harsh, but it's not our job to be nice to everybody. Most of the time we have rose-colored glasses about just about every team on this campus, but sometimes, you got to be real. And I just don't see the softball team doing much this season.
Yeah, and first home game is March 30th. That's crazy. 13 days.
Same day.
I don't know
Same
if
day as the
that's-
track meet.
I don't know if that's going to happen. But I have a doubleheader that day and then doubleheader next day as well. So 4 games in that weekend. So that'll be maybe Sunday we can go watch that one.
Yeah, for sure.
I have a match. Maybe
Okay,
after.
well, never mind. Maybe. All right,
Yeah.
and then I have the squeeze. What time is the game at?
1 and 3.
1 and 3. So we can go to the 3 o'clock one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tim Rude in the comments. Cave should have been first team, no question. The best teams get awarded with a playoff berth, and the best players should be rewarded regardless of team standing. Mr. Tim Rude, you are correct because you agree with us. So that means you're right. I agree. It's an individual award. You all heard my argument. I actually think this might be the first time that we take a snippet of the show, and I might post it on Twitter because that's how angry I am. I want everybody, as many people as possible, to see that. I mean, I feel kind of bad because I call other Division III athletes schmucks, but hey, hopefully they never see it. 507-457-1615 is the phone number. We're running late. It's 12:02. Where's Anthony? Where is he? Oh, wait, he's right here. Alec Rude. You let's take it away.
We're staying in our
let's-
seats.
no, switch seats. Switch seats. Okay, take control, buddy.
Welcome to the show, Anthony. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks. I'm so excited. I've heard a lot of stuff about the squeeze, and I've always wanted to come on. So I'm pretty pumped.
And I've kind of heard about your track background a little bit. You are a track and field athlete here?
Yes, I am. I'm a sophomore track and field athlete. Eligibility-wise, I'm actually only a freshman because indoor season last year, I had to medical hardship. It's not called redshirt in D3, so I had medical hardship in indoor last year, or in outdoor last year, and in indoor this season. So I've only competed in one collegiate season, and that was indoor my freshman year. So.
And then, well, before we get into that injury, so you went to Fenwick High School in Illinois, and from what I've heard, you had some success.
I did.
Track and field.
I mean,
What kind of success did you have?
We're
in high
gonna
school.
open up the yearbook. A lot of people say
we always
you should-
open up.
Yeah, I mean, the yearbook is awesome. Who doesn't like looking at the yearbook? In high school, I had a very good career. I qualified for state 3 seasons in a row for long jump. Indoor, I qualified for triple jump 3 seasons in a row. And I was 2-time All-State my junior and senior year. Senior year, now this is tough. I went in as, I believe, the 6th seed in the state.
How do they seed? Just
Your sectional performance. I think I jumped 22 feet 4 inches, something like that. So that put me right up there in the all-state range. And in the first day of jumps, there's the prelim days and there's the final days. You get 3 jumps in prelims, 3 jumps in finals. After prelims, I believe I was 6th. I was right in my seed. But the guy on top hadn't even hit my PR yet. He wasn't even over 22 feet 8 inches. So, state champ was well within range as I woke up on that finals day. And I'm warming up and I'm feeling good, but I kind of feel a little twinge in my hamstring. But just something that happens a lot. You just feel something, you power through it, whatever. I'm warming up, and then I get to my first jump of finals of my senior year. State champ is right there for the taking. I'm in position to be a 2-time All-Stater. And what happens? I pull my freaking hamstring. It almost felt like I tore my hamstring on that first jump. I jumped, instantly screamed. I just lost,
I didn't know this.
Oh yeah, I just loosened up. I just fell into the sand pit and I couldn't move. I couldn't walk for a couple minutes, and everyone was just kind of looking at me. No one came to help. No one, literally, I sat in the sand for maybe 30 seconds before anyone even pretended to come and help. It was excruciating pain, and then that's kind of what has set me up for college. Is I that whole summer for 2 months, I couldn't do anything. I couldn't walk. I couldn't work out. I couldn't do a lot because it was, it just hurt. It always hurt. My freshman season indoor, it always hurt. It always felt twingy. So it just kind of set me back. But now I'm good. I'm feeling good, and I'm very excited.
Before we get to the good though, so Anthony has had an injury in college as well. You want to talk about that?
I've had 2. So yeah, outdoor last season. At the end of indoor, I felt this weird thing in my chest. It was just chest tightness, and we went to the doctor, and they put the wrong lead on the wrong arm. So
yeah, that happened to me.
Okay, see, it must be a common thing. A bunch of freaking dummies.
It was someone that was in nursing school or something like that, and she put in the wrong thing, and I almost fainted. It was crazy.
Okay, so this is different then.
Wait, what are you talking about?
So this is the EKG machine.
Okay, never mind. Sorry.
So they put the wrong lead on the wrong arm. So it's just reading my heartbeat, but it inverted the heartbeat, so it looked like I was having heart palpitations or something like that. We went to a cardiologist. He looked at it and he just said, "This is not right. Can we do this to you?" And my dad and I were looking at each other. We're like, "I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die." He looks so nervous. There's no way. This is not right. So then he did it, and we realized it was just heart or the wrong lead on the wrong arm. I was okay. Pericarditis. I was out for the entire outdoor season, and again, couldn't work out. I wasn't cleared medically, and summer it was tough. It kind of always hurt, and I put on a lot of weight, and I've lost all athletic ability. And then indoor rolls around, and I kind of pull something in my lower abdomen while I'm hang cleaning one day, and that sets me back. A bunch of people telling me I have a hernia, so then I start thinking I have a hernia. It's a whole thing that I haven't had a very good college career, but I'm very excited to get out there. March 30th, it has been marked on my calendar for months now. Just very excited to jump again. Finally jump with Des Stewart. I mean, he's one of my best friends. He's a senior. This is his last year, and I've barely gotten to jump with him. So very excited to get out there, and hopefully I can carry that success that I had in high school into college.
Are you at the same level now that you think you were your prime in high school?
We'll see. I'm about 30 pounds heavier, so that's tough. I was 165 in high school. I'm now 195. We'll see there. I'm also an inch taller. So, there's so much fine tuning that goes into long jump, where one differentiation in anything can change the entire jump. It can change your entire season. So I don't know if I'm at the same peak athletically as I was 2 years ago, but I'm getting there. I think I'm a lot stronger. I'm a lot faster. We just have to see if I can convert that 30 pounds of extra weight into 30 pounds of force.
Now, Anthony, I hear you have a radio show called The Squeeze.
Okay, this is getting a little too meta.
No. What is your dream job? Is it being on the radio, or what do you think, or does it have your sports management and then communications as well?
Yeah, so
that's your double major.
Digital media and journalism.
Okay.
Yep.
Wait, so is that communications?
It's a communications degree, but it is digital media and journalism. So my dream job is absolutely to be on the radio. People tell me I can do it. I'm sometimes nervous about if I honestly can do it. It would be absolutely my dream job. I didn't know it was going to be my dream job until I came to St. Mary's and realized we had a radio station about this time last year. I mean, you were just getting on the show, and I realized, man, this is what I freaking want to do. This is it. This is what I want to do. I listen to sports radio every single day. I listen to Chicago sports radio. My dream job is absolutely to be on 670 The Score in Chicago. I think the first show I ever did, I said that it was The Squeeze on 670 The Score by accident, instead of KSMR. And it was a Freudian slip, because how cool would that be to say, Anthony Pasquesi on 670 The Score. So yeah, that's absolutely my dream job. It's a long route to get there, because I'm not at a broadcasting school right now. These are two kind of weird majors to get into the broadcasting business. But I think this, what we're doing here is really beneficial to getting to that career path, because of how much experience that you and I are getting on our own. We're teaching it to ourselves basically every single week. So that is absolutely my dream job.
And you're talking about the route. So in the summer and then leading up, what are some internships or jobs you could do while you're home in Chicago or even here? That's the thing you got to think about. Is there?
Well, you have to remember, I'm only a freshman.
Yep.
So you're a little bit ahead of me in the internship realm. I've contacted some minor league baseball teams that are around the Chicagoland area. I don't want my first internship to be with the Tribune Company or with WGN Radio, because I don't have any experience in an office setting, So I don't want that to be my first internship. I'd like to develop some more skills before I even apply for those. But yeah, I'm going to try and get into the sporting world this summer with a minor league internship.
Okay. Last question. In the MIAC conference, how do you fare? How do you think you would fare in these, give us a little preview for these next upcoming years when you jump? How do you fare in the MIAC conference?
Me personally?
That's what I want to know. Do you think you could maybe be all conference?
Oh, I mean, I last year when I was dealing with all that pain and all that hamstring stuff, I was 9th in long jump in the MIAC as a freshman.
Make all conference?
8.
Oh.
8. So top 8 make all conference. I was 9th. Whatever. I made finals my freshman year. It was awesome. So I think this is kind of whatever, patting my own back. if things go correctly, I believe that I can be an All-American. And my coach
How do
believes
you
the
have to
exact
do
same
that?
thing. So that would be getting up to 720, 730 meters. And right now I'm at, I think my high school PR was a 687 meter, and my college PR has been 650. So not even close. But just getting to that point, I'm right there. And Dez is right there, and Kyle is right there. So I think all three of us have a really good opportunity to make it to nationals and to be all American. And and in the conference, I think a MIAC championship is in my future if I work hard, which I have been. If I stay healthy, I was just talking to my coach a couple days ago. He just said all you need to do is just stay healthy. Just put together seasons, multiple seasons of just being healthy. Put all the pieces together, and then a lot of special things can happen. And I do believe that. I'm confident. I'm not trying to be cocky. I'm just confident. Like I honestly believe that a MIAC championship is in my.
What does it take to get to nationals? Like we hear Becca Dupin that like she makes it and stuff, but I haven't heard it. Do a lot of people make it to nationals from St. Mary's?
No. 2 seasons ago, David Kemper made it in pole vault, and Becca Dupe made it in triple jump. Last season, she made it in long and triple jump, and she was All-American in one. Sadly, she's hurt now, so her career as a Cardinal is over.
Really?
Yeah, she will be finishing her eligibility next year at grad school, which is awesome for her. Very excited. I believe she got into St. Thomas. I think so. That would be kind of unfortunate.
Wait, so she's gonna.
I think so.
Be an track athlete for them.
I think so. I believe. Yeah, because
she still has a year left.
You get 5 years of You get 4 years of eligibility in 5 years. So I think that's where she's going to finish it out. So how funny would that be? That would be really just unfortunate. Hopefully she goes to a different grad school. Hopefully she goes to a different grad school. But it's very rare for a St. Mary's track athlete to make it to nationals. I think only 22 per event qualify. The top 22 in the nation qualify. And there's 63 conferences. So you make it to nationals, it's a really big deal. Dez was 35th this season in indoor for triple jump. So he was really close, and he just got edged out by a couple MIAC guys. And this outdoor season is going to be awesome. I think myself, Kyle Lichtenegger, and Desmond Stewart are going to surprise a lot of people. Dez is a senior, Kyle's only a junior because of his hardship issues, and I'm only a freshman. So the three of us, we're going to walk into a lot of meets, and we're going to walk out of a lot of meets with some medals.
Sweet. Any last words for track or your radio show feature?
No, I think this was really fun. Who doesn't love talking about themselves?
It felt a little different to be in the driver's seat, but it's fun.
Here, take us to break. Let's see how you do.
Oh my gosh!
Just say
you don't even have any.
You just have to say, take us to break. Just outro us.
Don't you do?
What's coming up next?
I don't need the phone number?
No, not yet. Oh, yeah, you're right. 507. You don't know the phone number.
I don't.
So here, you do everything else except the phone number, and then I'll give you the phone number.
Okay, so coming up after the break, we have some March Madness talk, and then talk about the Bradley basketball team as well. Anthony will touch on that. Pretty interesting story on that one. And then Andy Alleman will come in at 12:30, and then we'll finish it up there talking about my tennis team. I kind of did it earlier, but maybe touch on maybe a little bit more stats, and then also talking about us living together next year, and then a little Cubs. So we will head to break with this phone number that you can call.
507-457-1615 is the phone number if you want to win that free Squeeze t-shirt.
See you later.
Keep listening. Stay tuned. You are listening to The Squeeze with Anthony Pasquesi, produced by Alec Rude on KSMR Radio, broadcasting live on 92.5 FM on campus and 94.3 FM in Winona, Minnesota, as well as online at smumn.edu/KSMR, KSMR Real College Radio, 12:17 on the clock right now. Andy Alleman will be in at 12:30 to talk some NFL free agency. Before that, we're going to talk some March Madness. But before that, I'm going to talk about my Yeti tumbler, because this is kind of a funny story. So I get a Yeti tumbler from my parents for Christmas. It's awesome. If you don't know what a Yeti is, they're some of the best coolers, tumblers, anything that keeps things hot or cold around. And this tumbler was awesome. It's really easy to clean. Remember that for later in the story. It's really easy to clean. It keeps things hot. It was awesome. I loved it. It was red, just like the Cardinals. And then one day I come to the Squeeze to, talk to you guys, and I put some coffee in it and I drink the coffee, but I don't finish the coffee. And then I just kind of forget about the Yeti thing, and I go on spring break, and then I come back from spring break and look at my Yeti, and it looks like there is a caterpillar at the bottom of my Yeti, as the coffee that had creamer in it, so there's a lot of sugar and a lot of other things in there, molded over. So I tried my best to clean it out. Hot water, soap, everything, just mounds and mounds of gross, green, fuzzy stuff was just coming out of this tumbler, going all over my sink. I felt terrible for my roommate. I didn't show him any of it. I didn't talk about it at all. Absolutely disgusting. I almost vomited. I was sick as a dog, and I couldn't smell anything, and I could still smell this. That's how bad it was. But I thought I cleaned it out, and, I scrubbed it. I let it soak. And then I showed it to Nolan today, and I asked him if I could maybe drink out of it again. He said, "No, are you kidding me?" There's a black ring totally around it. I scrubbed it for half an hour, and it's still there. There's a black ring on the rim. So
that's disgusting.
Rip my Yeti. What was it? December 25th, 2018 to March 2019.
Ugh.
I know. I had to talk about it because.
Wait, what break were you on?
It was spring break. I mean, it was
really?
Whatever, spring break. Who's that? Oh, it's Jacob Coleman. Hi, Jacob Coleman. How are you doing? 507-457-1615 is the phone number. So that's my Yeti. But now let's talk about something a little more important, and that's Bradley University. The Bradley University Braves won their conference. They won the bid to the NCAA tournament. They were going to be the Illinois feel-good story of this year. You remember Loyola last year. They had Sister Jean. They had nothing but good feelings. They made it to the freaking Final Four. How awesome is that?
Bradley won't do that.
Bradley probably won't do it. Now Bradley really doesn't deserve to do it. Bradley University revoked access to its basketball team to the beat writer from the Peoria Journal-Star after complaining the hometown newspaper did not properly promote the college's brand. A day later, after encountering the wrath of journalism activists nationwide, it reinstated access. As Dave Reynolds attempted to conduct an interview with one of the team's players, a school official stepped in and told him he was not welcome at the event. He compared it to a meeting between Bradley officials and Hewitt, the editor of the newspaper, earlier in the season, in which university representatives reportedly told the editor that the newspaper's coverage doesn't benefit them. I said, "I don't care." I chuckled a few times during the meeting. "It was very silly," Hewitt said this week. Bradley did threaten to curtail the paper's access to the team during the meeting and made good on that threat Friday. That stance was answered by a wave of condemnation from journalists across the country, including Keith Olbermann, Blake Topmeyer, Tim Dahlberg, and even Dictionary.com got into the mix, as well as a myriad of others across the nation. Bradley has since rescinded the ban and looks to move forward toward the tournament next weekend. Now, this struck my eye, and I wanted to talk about it because we both took journalism class last semester. We both want to get into sports media. That's what we're doing here. Now, there are a few problems if you were listening to that article. One, it's not a newspaper's job to promote anybody's brand. It's a newspaper's job to give the facts and give the news. And
sometimes gotta be.
You have to be blunt. You have to be blunt. And that's what the writer was doing. It is not his job to be the team's publicist. So if the team isn't doing things right and they're facts, he's going to write the facts. So to be that thin-skinned, that just, and revoke the access to the beat writer for doing his job and making a fool out of yourself. Bradley now doesn't deserve to win anything because, it was pretty cool to see journalists from across the nation unite together and say, okay, enough of this. This is crazy. You're not the president. You are Bradley University. Like, this is not how this is supposed to work. So win for journalism there, Alec Rude.
Yeah, you'll see Bradley get absolutely crushed. So this journalism guy will get his revenge. He'll get it back.
And I bet you, I can't wait to read what he writes about it after this. Could you imagine?
Where is it going to be posted?
How sweet. Peoria Star Journal. That's the website or the newspaper. So I'll be sure to look out for that. But what seed is Bradley going to be, do you think? An 11, 12?
No. They'll be
15?
like 14 or 15.
Okay.
They're going to be down there.
Loyola was an 11 last year. So
yeah, they'll be 14 or 15. I think they're like 20 and 14 overall. And they were a 5 seed in their conference. So,
wow, and they won the bid.
And they won. They
That's
beat
awesome.
a 6 seed, Northern Iowa, in the championship.
So what is that, the MAC? What conference is it?
Missouri Valley.
Oh, that's Loyola's conference.
Uh-huh.
Okay, well, now I really don't want to root for Bradley. But so there you go. Just to remember, people out there, journalism is necessary for the sanctity of the United States government. I mean, to keep order in the world, journalism needs to be a thing. This whole war on journalism thing is a problem. Journalists do not have an agenda, or at least they shouldn't have an agenda. They are just there to report the facts and keep people, checked and balanced. That's the job of a journalist. That's what
in the glass. There's some that are getting killed in some countries,
absolutely.
In the United States. Like, come on.
It's just people don't understand the importance of journalism and the importance of newspapers and just the importance of facts.
Yep.
And this is it may be kind of not as important. It's Bradley basketball. Who really cares? But it's a precursor to what could happen if we continue to let things like this occur. And it's very refreshing to see them rescind the ban and just, have all the journalists unite together for this cause. It's a cool story. It's a scary story if it didn't go this way, but I think Bradley did make the right decision at the end. Not that they deserve any credit because they made this mess, but hey, they cleaned it up just a bit. So from Bradley, who's going to get beaten in the first round.
Yes, easy.
Alec Rude, you are our March Madness expert. Sadly, I haven't been watching too much college basketball this season. I will be glued to the TV this weekend and every weekend following that for March Madness. But tell me, who are the favorites? And just, I don't know.
Yeah.
Have
some
fun.
Teams to watch out for it.
Have fun. Have fun with your favorite sporting event.
No, so we're looking at the 1 seeds right now. So Gonzaga University out of Washington, they were actually ranked number 1 overall, but they lost to St. Mary's actually in the conference champion.
Nice job, Eli. Nice job, Eli.
Eli had 40.
At a game.
No, but that loss, St. Mary's actually that's in California. That they were having kind of a rough season. They're still the 2 seed in that conference, but Gonzaga lost to them. But according to some experts I've been looking at, they're still going to be a 1 seed, but they're projected 3 ACC teams as another 1 seed out of the 4.
Whoa.
So North Carolina, Virginia, and Duke. So same
all
conference,
1 seeds.
all 1 seeds.
Wow.
So they said that's the 4 basically, and then 2 seeds they were predicting. I think Michigan State, Michigan. They play each other today, so that'll kind of depend on who's going to be up more, and then Tennessee and Kentucky as well.
Wow, Kentucky, even though they just lost to Tennessee.
They think they're going to still be up there because from after those 8, I think kind of goes downhill. You look at Texas Tech, LSU, and them. But again, it's going to be a very fun tournament. I think we're going to see a lot of upsets as well. My Kansas boys are sitting at 17 right now, so you never know. Again, with them, they're so unpredictable as well. Do you have any teams? I mean, you've been watching a little, but any teams you want to?
I mean, anytime a Big Ten team is in there, that's
Exactly.
my conference. That's my favorite conference. I like the little guy. I always like the little guy. That's why Loyola was so great last year. I had a connection. I'm from Chicago, and it was fun to watch. So hopefully there's something like that this year. Anytime there's a Cinderella, I'm all about that cheese. So Cinderella teams, Big Ten teams, that's who I'm looking out for. SEC, I don't like the SEC.
I disagree with you this year. I think the
Kentucky.
SEC is going to be unreal.
I like
think
Tennessee. I like Tennessee.
I think they'll get to national championship maybe.
Whoa.
Depending on the bracket. But
Okay,
I
that's
think Tennessee's going to be up there. And then
Okay. Have you been paying attention to UMBC? Have you been paying attention to them? Are they going to make the tournament
UMBC?
or no?
They just got beat in the
No
conference
way!
championship. Yeah.
Who'd they lose to? Do you know?
Vermont? Yeah, Vermont.
Oh, come on.
People are saying Vermont.
They might be a 16.
Yeah.
Okay, 16 seed over 1 seed.
Vermont, New Mexico State, and Utah State.
Those
Watch
are the
out for
16
those
seeds.
three.
Oh, because those are might be the Cinderellas.
There'll be like 13s or 14s or maybe 12s.
Okay.
So watch out for those teams. And then I was asked my Final Four prediction last night. I said Duke, if the bracket works out right, Duke, North Carolina, Tennessee, and Michigan.
I love it
That
how
was
you're giving a Final Four when you don't even
The
know what the
bracket's not
bracket
in.
is yet. So the Selection Sunday, that's today, 5 p.m., right? And are you a big filling out the bracket guy? For nothing. You cannot bet. You remember?
Yeah, I never do
You
that.
cannot bet. You can't bet anything.
Never.
It's not allowed. You will be ineligible if you bet.
I only fill out one bracket.
Okay.
A lot of people do all these brackets to try to, again, not for money.
No, for money. No.
But they
Definitely not for
they
money.
think that they have a chance to get perfect. But I stick to my one bracket, and I
Okay.
think that's ethical for me.
There you go.
That's
Ethical.
That's a good word.
Very
so I
ethical.
don't just look at all my brackets and
Yeah.
just.
And then-
it's one I stick to.
And then you just tape it up in your bedroom and you just look at it. And then every time it's right or wrong, you're just like, yes. But you don't put it anywhere. You don't bet on anything. You don't put it in any pools.
A lot of people go off their bracket for this. I'm not like I like my bracket, but no one's gonna get a perfect bracket.
You don't know.
I'm sorry,
You don't
unless
know that.
someone has
don't know
maybe a team together where they're doing every possible combination. We could do that.
We could do that, but I think there's like a billion permutations.
So we can get a big team.
There's way too
What about
many.
a college, of course, so we can collect the money?
Okay, I don't know about money. What are you talking about? You can't bet, dude.
Yeah, after college, I just
Oh,
said.
after college. Okay, 507-457-1615.
After college.
We haven't taken a single phone call all day. Andy Alleman is waiting. We will have him on in just a moment at 12:30. 507-457-1615. I'm not even going to ask for 16-second squeeze callers anymore because I don't want to give away a T-shirt because y'all didn't want them. So 507-457-1615 is the phone number. I want to hear an opinion. When's the last time we heard a caller opinion? It's been a couple months.
It's been a long
It's been a
time.
long time. 507-457-1615.
Who's winning March Madness?
Who's winning March Madness? Did Eli Cave get hosed? I mean, are the Cubs really only going to win 79 games this year? How about NFL free agency? Join the conversation. 507-457-1615. We're going to send it to break right now, and we'll have Andy Alleman on right after this. What is the best way to gear up for Townie this year? How about a night of running, dancing, and partying with DJ Charco? That is exactly what Light Up the Night 3K on Friday, April 26th is. A night to exercise with friends and support your fellow students. This event is free to St. Mary's students, and the run starts at 8 p.m., followed by a DJ Charco concert at 9. Dance yourself into Townie during this incredible event. 507-457-1615 is the phone number. We will be right back to talk NFL free agency with Andy Alleman. You are listening to The Squeeze with Anthony Pasquesi and Alec Rude on KSMR Radio, broadcasting live on 92.5 FM on campus and 94.3 FM in Winona, Minnesota, as well as online at smumn.edu/KSMR. KSMR, real college radio. 507-457-1615 is the phone number. If at any time you object to what we're saying or you just want to say something, call that phone number, 507-457-1615. Alec, one more time.
Phone number?
Yes.
507-457-1615.
Attaboy, we're getting there. 507-457-1615. This young gentleman is not Alec Rude, who's sitting next to me if you're watching on that YouTube live stream. It is Andy Alleman. Andy, thanks for joining us here today.
Always a pleasure,
Yet
fellas.
again, this is round 4, I believe.
I think you're right.
Round 4 on The Squeeze, so a regular contributor now.
Love coming in, giving some hot takes, and having some good spirited debates with you guys.
Absolutely.
About some
Very excited.
excellent sports.
And we have one hot debate take that we will
All right.
have, I'm sure. We'll finish with that
Yeah.
one because I'm a Bears fan and you're a Packers fan. But Andy I haven't asked him yet, so I'm asking him on air. I believe he will be my producer next week,
All right.
next Sunday for the
Let's
show.
do it.
All right, okay, sounds
I'm all
good.
for it. Absolutely.
Tennis.
Yeah,
There you
tennis.
go.
Alec
Right.
won't be here, so Andy
Here he
is
calls.
the replacement.
Yes, sir.
Here's
Here he
here's the
comes.
audition. This is your
All
audition.
right. Pull me out the bullpen. Let's get her started.
507-457-6015. Hey, everybody, he was more than ready to do it last weekend, and then I got sick. So
That's all good.
You know,
It's all good.
crap happens. 507-457-1615 is the phone number. Let's start with arguably the biggest, this isn't a signing, so it's not free agency, but arguably the biggest move that any team is going to make this offseason, and that is Odell Beckham Jr. being traded to the Cleveland Browns. Just tell me something about it.
Well, he actually re-upped his contract. He didn't extend it for years. He did what Antonio Brown did, where he actually added money on top of that. So they're paying him.
Yeah.
Bottom line. And they gave up, and I think that was an absolute steal, considering that
Absolutely.
considering they gave up the 17th pick.
Yep.
Think about that. The 49ers were talking to them about giving up the second pick, and they ended up with the 17th, and for like literally the best wide receiver in the league.
Yep.
And one of the best. And you look at his stats, and like the last, like in history, is like one of the best wide receivers in history.
He's a Hall of Famer. I mean,
Yeah.
he is a Hall of Famer, and he's halfway through his career.
He'll like it a lot better there too. I think he's going to get better this year than maybe like past 2 years.
Well, think about this. He's been producing, and he's at Eli Manning as his quarterback. He's about to get Baker Mayfield as a
Yeah.
freaking quarterback.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And an actual offense.
Yeah, an actual
a running game too.
Well,
Yeah.
look at that offense as a whole. It's terrifying. It's the top 5 offense if everyone stays healthy and they can protect Baker. I mean, you got Baker, you got Kareem Hunt, you got
Nick
Chubb.
Chubb,
Chubb's
David
Everyone.
Njoku.
David Njoku, OBJ,
Jarvis Landry.
Antonio Callaway. You got
Yeah.
guys that are just
It's
everywhere.
a unit.
It's a unit.
It's a big unit.
It's a huge unit.
See,
I'm excited to watch them.
now I'm excited to watch them, but I want to cool the Jets on them
Yeah.
being not the actual Jets, but cool the Jets on them being a favorite in the AFC.
No.
Now,
AFC North.
maybe in the AFC North, but I don't even know there. Because here's my problem with the Cleveland
It's them
Browns.
and the Ravens.
It's not a biased thing where, the Cleveland Browns aren't going to be good because they're the Browns. No, they're top heavy.
Yeah.
They haven't built through depth. They haven't built through the draft. And that's how you build a playoff team. You know, you don't just get a playoff team after 2 signings. So yes, they have the highest top end talent that you could imagine.
Yeah.
They have a top 10 quarterback. They have a top number 2 wide receiver. They have a top 5 tight end and a top 5 running back.
Yeah.
I mean, they have amazing top end talent, but they're not deep enough for me to call them
Well,
a contender.
how I look at it is that look at what they've been adding, and then look at what the AFC North lost. You know what I mean? The Bengals haven't done anything, but then the Ravens, their defense got gutted.
Yep.
And
And they have a skeleton of an offense.
yeah, and then the Steelers, I mean, they've just been a mess. Maybe getting rid of Antonio and Le'Veon makes more team synergy. I mean, that's always a possibility. But
I like the Browns defense a
Oh, dude.
lot. They
Miles
just got
Garrett.
Sheldon Richardson
Yeah.
from the right.
yeah, Olivia
Denzel Ward's
Vernon.
good too.
Yeah, they got the pieces. I'm telling
Miles
you.
Garrett.
There's
They do. There is something there. There's something cooking there, but I don't think that they don't have it yet.
Yeah.
And maybe they will, and maybe I'll be wrong, and they'll laugh in my face. But I don't look at them and say that's a playoff team.
Go ahead.
I look at the Steelers, and although they just got gutted, they just lost 2 of their top 3 players.
Yeah.
James Conner is still an awesome running back. Juju
100%.
Smith-Schuster is a top 5 wide receiver,
Yeah.
and Ben Roethlisberger is still Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah.
He's not what he used to be, but you put that guy in a football field, he's going to do some stuff. So
Yeah.
I have confidence in the Steelers because to me that's a team.
Yeah.
Like I look at them and I say that's a playoff team.
Yes.
It could just be preconceived notions, but
We'll see. I mean, that's a lot of talent that's a lot of firepower they've been
Absolutely.
building there. So we'll see what they do.
I think Nick Chubb might be the difference for him. He was so good at the end of last year. He
And then
can run the football.
And then once Hunt's back and you can rotate those, I mean, depending on the situation.
It's James White and
Watch out.
Sony Michelle,
Yeah.
just like the
basically.
Patriots.
Yeah. And they can do it all because Baker's under a rookie contract. I mean, look at what everyone copied the Rams plan from last year where they had Jared Goff on a rookie contract and they absolutely juiced that entire team. And now they made it run all the way to the Super Bowl. They laid an egg in the Super Bowl, but they made it run all the way there. I think you can look at a lot of teams around the league that are doing that, and Browns are they're the team this year that are doing that exact same plan. I think that's something.
Bears did it last year. They
Yes.
signed
Yes.
Khalil Mack to the highest contract in the history of the NFL for a defensive player.
Yes.
And that's something they can do because Mitch Trubisky's on his rookie deal. It's a great blueprint.
I mean, look, the problem is all these teams are paying so much money to these quarterbacks, and I get it, but it's like it's a team game. This isn't
Absolutely.
the NBA
Yeah.
where you can win a championship with 8 or 9 guys. Like it's a full 22 plus.
Yeah.
You know.
Rams proved that you don't need an unreal quarterback.
Yeah.
No, and we're straying a little bit away from free agency, so we'll get that back after this. But look at the Patriots.
Yeah.
The Patriots don't have a rookie quarterback, but they have a guy who's on a rookie quarterback deal practically because he takes the discount because his wife makes $1 billion. That's why they have been so good because their quarterback is one of the best, but he doesn't get paid like he's one of the best because he, team player.
Just to throw it in real quick, they got gutted on both sides of the line. It doesn't matter. They're going to have guys step in, and it's just going to keep churning out.
It's just ridiculous. So, okay, we've kind of talked about Kareem Hunt. We won't talk about that anymore. But now let's look at the Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown situation and the differences between the two. I'm going to say some things. I'm going to ask you if you agree with these things.
Yep.
I already said it to Alec earlier, but I think Le'Veon Bell absolutely lost. 100% lost. He lost $14.5 million last season from sitting out. That's what the franchise tag is. And now this year he signs for what? What did you find out? It was $13
It
million?
was like 13.5 or 14, wasn't it?
So he signs for less than he would have made last season. So he just missed out on that season. He missed out on a year in his absolute athletic prime. And now he's on the Jets. So I think he lost. There's no doubt about it. But Antonio Brown, on the other hand, man, that dude won.
Yeah.
My gosh. He finessed the entire system.
Yeah.
He basically said, "Hey, Steelers, I don't want to play for you anymore. Okay, I'm gonna trade myself and then sign one of the biggest contracts ever."
Well, look at it this way. He was finding out he's going to Buffalo. Nah. Straight up. Just nope, I will not.
I won't play.
And then they traded him to the Raiders, and just all the what's the word? All the stuff he was doing. Shenanigans. Dude, I mean, with the video Instagram Live and like just dyeing his face and like his hair, like his facial hair, it's just like all this stuff I felt like kind of decreased his trade value. But people were like, this guy's really kind of crazy.
But hey, it worked.
It worked. And
He's the best receiver.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, you said something about fantasy that I don't agree with. You said that he's your number one wide receiver in fantasy.
oh gosh.
I don't.
Derek
Carr.
He'll have 1 year.
I don't know.
He'll be decent.
But like,
We'll see. I mean, they gotta fill out the rest of that offense right now because they don't got any starting tailbacks.
I can't even name you a halfback that they have.
They're gonna throw it to him 15 times a game.
Yeah.
And that might be true. He might be the entire offense.
I
But
don't really know. I don't really know if they have any other wide receivers right now either.
not really.
They just signed.
They signed somebody.
Williams?
Tyrell Williams.
Yeah.
There you go. So they got a number 2 wide receiver. I mean, look,
We'll
there's
see. I'm not drafting him in my fantasy draft. I'm not.
Yeah.
I mean,
If
I
it
just-
comes, we'll see. I don't know yet.
he and just to add on, he upped the money in his deal. He's like, pay me more. And they did.
absolutely.
He won that trade.
Absolutely. He won the trade. He won the entire situation. He told the world, I'm not playing for the Steelers, and then it happened. I
His
mean,
agent probably won it.
okay, his agent won, but he had a lot to do with it. I mean,
He did.
can you imagine just saying to your employer, hey, I'm not going to work for you. You're going to send me to a better place. And them saying yes. It doesn't happen. And it happened with Antonio Brown because he's that big of a star and he's that big of a diva. I mean, to be blunt.
Did you see that he went right to Derek Carr's house when he got to Oakland and
He
did.
hung out with him,
Oh
and then
my
they
gosh.
threw around together. Like,
Chemistry. There you go.
He's ready.
Drapes, you with Coke.
And then as for Le'Veon, I mean, he just lost. I mean,
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if we just never really hear a whole lot about him again, to be honest. I mean,
Absolutely.
I hope I'm wrong because he was an outstanding running back. But if he doesn't have a decent line in front of him, and I don't know what they have on their offensive line, but I mean, it's
I'd rather take James Conner over him right now.
Oh,
Like,
I would too.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I mean, that offense in Pittsburgh was made for him. It was his offense.
tailor-made.
You had Antonio Brown taking the top off the defense.
Yep.
And what does that leave? That leaves a wide open Le'Veon Bell to do whatever the heck he wants.
Yeah, he had a quality line in front of him. He could watch plays develop before he chose a hole.
It's not going to happen now.
I don't know.
And he's got a second-year quarterback who a lot of people don't have faith
I don't
in.
like him.
He's in the biggest media market in the country, but he's the little sister. I mean, he's on the little sister team. He's on the Jets.
Yeah.
So I just, did not work out for Le'Veon Bell. Worked out a lot for Antonio Brown. And then finally, something that is on a micro level, because who really cares about these two players outside of Green Bay and Chicago?
Yep.
We got word that the Green Bay Packers signed Adrian Amos. And I was like, yeah, congrats. And you asked me what he was as a player, and I said he's a reliable tackler. He's never going to make he's never going to make a great play, but he's never going to be the reason that a great play was made on the other end. And then I looked at it, and I saw that he's averaged 55 tackles a season for his 4 years in the league. That's not that great.
Right.
He also has, I think, 5 career interceptions.
Yeah.
So again, 4. He has 4 career interceptions, so not that great. And the Packers gave him $13 million. $13 million for a guy who has 4 career interceptions and averages 55 tackles a season. Then the next day, Clinton Dix, who was traded to the Redskins last year for, this is what I'm going to ask you about. For some reasons, off the field issues, inability to work hard. But that guy, the Bears signed him for $3.5 million. He has 17 career interceptions in one more season. And then I was like, okay, well, maybe he just is a ball hawk. Mm-hmm. The dude is averaging 80 tackles a season. So he's tackling more than Adrian Amos. He's intercepting the ball more than Adrian Amos. And he gets paid $10 million less. Yeah. You tell me why.
Dude, I don't know. I think his value, one, it was the saturated safety market. You look at how many really good safeties. There's literally the entire league of safeties. Yeah. And I think he kind of just got lost in it a little bit. Off the field issues, I mean, there's nothing that was really like stand out. I mean, there were times where people questioned his work ethic a little bit, but I mean, I loved him. He was a team captain. He was an All-Pro a couple of years ago. Yeah. I was really disappointed when they traded him, and they gave him up for like a 4th-round pick.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm happy with Amos. I mean,
he's good player. He's a good plair.
He's a good player, but I mean, I feel like it's more boomer bust potential. But we'll see. We'll see how he thrives in that defense.
Yeah. So who are the two safeties on the Packers now? You have Amos and who else? Is it Jair Alexander?
No, he's a
cornerback.
They don't really have a second. They don't have a second safety. They don't have a free safety ball hawk. Yeah, that's why you guys have two of
them now. Now you have Eddie Jackson and Clinton Dix, Alabama teammates, both ball hawking safeties. I mean, it's going to be
like you said. He's got potential to play in the box. He can drop back in coverage. I mean, he was an All-Pro safety. He's a Pro Bowler. I mean, you guys got to steal.
Yeah,
there's no doubt about it.
Okay, you agree. This is weird, but I mean, it blew my mind to see Amos. Yeah. Who is a PFF darling. I mean, Pro Football Focus loves the guy. Yeah. But he just doesn't make plays. He doesn't make plays. Look, and I don't understand why you give a guy who doesn't make plays playmaker money.
It wasn't necessary. I don't know the Packers thinking. But I do know they wanted to open the wallets a little bit more. They spent $13.5 million and $20 million on a couple of edge rushers. So it's kind of a different. It's a shift in the mindset. So I don't know why they targeted Amos specifically. Maybe they thought he fit well in the system with Mike Pettin, but they really wanted to open up the wallets this offseason and see if they could do anything.
Okay.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah. The odds that the Bears continue their success and sustain their success are not very high, but it's going to be fun. We got a Vikings fan, a Packers fan, and a Bears fan.
What do you think? What do you think of the offensive additions with Patterson, Davis, and they added one more? I want to say.
So yeah, Mike Davis is just a bruiser. I mean, he's a Jordan Howard, clone almost. I don't see what you're going to do much there with him in the offense. Obviously, they see something. Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace are geniuses at this point. I mean, I think we can call them what they are. Cordero Patterson, a lot of people were making fun of that signing. I think you were one of them because I had said that they were going to sign Le'Veon Bell.
Well, what I thought is it's kind of funny that they added him because they almost have a gadget player like him already in Cohen.
But the difference is Cohen is their running back.
Yeah.
So you don't want Cohen as your receiver. Yeah. Now, our kick returns are not really that important anymore, but the fact that you now have the best kick returner, it's not a bad thing. Yeah. So the fact that you have Cordero Patterson on your side is not a bad thing. Yeah. And the other thing to look at, as a Patriot last year, he had 47 carries. Yeah. I mean, he can do a lot. Yeah. He's one of the fastest guys on the field. Every time he steps on the field, he's one of the strongest guys. He can jump. He's just an athlete. And you give me that, you give Matt Nagy that thing.
Notable.
Oh my gosh. It's going to be exciting. Could you imagine just Cohen on one side, Cordero Patterson on the other side? Go. I mean, it's just it's going to be tough to counter that.
Yeah, you gotta put zone on that almost. You can't expect guys to stay man to man with him.
Absolutely.
I think Patterson. I don't like him. I think Patterson.
Well, he's had bad memories with them.
Yeah,
you don't like him player. Yeah,
I think the game's caught up to him. I don't think he's just there anymore.
Well,
so I don't like him as your third option for a wide receiver or your second option for a running back. But put him on the Bears, he's your fourth running back. Yeah. He's your sixth wide receiver. So what's the harm in giving him 3 plays a game that might bust out for a touchdown? Like you're not relying on this guy. You already had, you didn't have a great offense last year, but you had an offense last year that took you to a wild card game, So just add this guy in. You're not relying on him for a lot and just see what he can do. I think it's a win-win signing. You're not going to be mad at Cordero Patterson if he doesn't pan out because he's not really supposed to.
Yeah.
507-457-1615 is a phone number. I asked you for 15 minutes. You gave us 19. So thank you, Andy Alderman. I'll see you tomorrow at practice, and then they'll see you next week as the producer of the Squeeze.
Sport marketing class.
Or sport. I guess I'll see you in sport marketing class before.
We'll make it a good show.
Yeah. Okay. 507-457-1615 is that phone number. We'll be right back. We got one more thing to talk about, and that is the Pacoda projections for the Chicago Cubs. 507-457-1615. And remember, everybody, Eli Cave got hosed. Okay. We'll be right back. You are listening to The Squeeze with Anthony Pasquazi and Alec Rude on KSMR Radio, broadcasting live on 92.5 FM on campus and 94.3 FM in Winona, Minnesota, as well as online at smumn.edu/KSMR, KSMR Real College Radio. And I'm going to give you these light up the night spot read one more time to, remove the cloak from in front of the show. We're going to take you behind the scenes. This is our first radio spot. How does it feel? It feels pretty good.
Really
pretty good. We're getting more professional as the weeks go on. Light up the night. This is an event here at St. Mary's that is going to be run by my sports facilities and event management class. It was a little bid thing, kind of like the Olympics, and they won the bid. So we're doing a 3K on April 26th, a 3K followed by a DJ Charco, who's a senior on the hockey team, a little DJ Charco concert. So it's free admission for all St. Mary's students. From 8 o'clock is the run, 9 o'clock is the concert. You don't have to go to both. You can go to either or. It's just going to be a super fun way to kind of chill a little bit before Townie. We don't need to get all crazy before you get crazy. You can just, burn off some calories, have some fun dancing, and then go to Townie the next day. So light up the night 3K. Look out for more information on that on basically every social media platform, as well as every week here on The Squeeze. You'll hear about the light up the night and the progress that is happening there. So very happy to have our first ever radio spot. For those of you who don't understand why we don't have advertisements, I've asked the same question. Why can't I go to Caribou and say, hey, if you play The Squeeze every week, I'll totally advertise Caribou every week, and it'll be great. Why can't we do that? And I asked our liaison, and he said, because of our license. You cannot sponsor anything of businesses, which is just unfortunate, because how cool would that be to go to, Mangoes and say, hey, can I put this up in the thing, and then I'll advertise your company. It would just make it feel more professional. But hey, can't do everything, so it's good that we can do these little smooth radio reads, and making us feel a little bit more professional as the weeks go by. We have one more thing to talk about, and that is Cubs and the PECOTA projections. Have you heard about this at all, Alec Rude?
No, I have not.
Okay, so PECOTA is not a person. PECOTA is not a group. PECOTA is a computer. It is an acronym. It stands for something. I don't know what that something is, but it is a computer program that spits out different simulations of seasons for every single Major League Baseball team. It's reliable some years. They've been very off on the Cubs the last 3 years in a row. And this year, they have projected a team that has won more games in the last 4 seasons than any other team in baseball. A team that won 95 games last year. A team that is identical to that team last year that won 95 games. They project that same Cubs team is going to finish in last place in the NL Central and win 79 games.
Third to last in the NL.
According to PECOTA, the Cubs are going to be only better than the Miami Marlins and the San Francisco Giants. And they're going to win the exact same amount as the San Diego Padres. Wow. 79 wins. The disrespect. Are you kidding me?
They have the Twins ahead of the Cubs.
What the heck? 79 wins. So I did some research into it, and I realized there's 2 reasons why the Cubs are going to win 79 games this year. The biggest reason is the age of their starting rotation. PECOTA has a very crazy aging curve that has taken data over the course of baseball's history, and they say that Cole Hamels, John Lester, and Yu Darvish are gonna regress this season. They're gonna do it because they're old and they're getting older. But you cannot tell me that a team that has won more games than any other team in the last 4 seasons is only gonna win 79 and me not laugh at you. The other reason is because of Wilson Contreras. Do you know what pitch framing is?
Kind of.
Okay. Oh, see, who's Mr. Baseball, huh? Yeah, I'm Mr. Baseball. You're Mr. Hockey. Get in the corner over there. Now, pitch framing is the ability of a catcher to catch the ball and move his hand in just a bit so that it fools the umpire to give him the outside corner. So when he catches a fastball, he moves his hand in a bit. The umpire looks down. Okay, that was a strike. Wilson Contreras was the worst catcher in baseball last season at pitch framing. And pitch framing is brand new in Pacoda this year. So to me, that is saying their variable of pitch framing is too big. It's way too large if you're telling me that the Cubs are going to only win 79 games because Wilson Contreras is so bad at pitch framing. What else that tells me is, what do you think Wilson Contreras worked on this summer or this winter? He probably worked on pitch framing, so he's going to get better. Also, maybe John Lester regresses. Maybe Cole Hamels regresses. But I don't think that they're both going to do it at the exact same time at the exact same year. You look at that starting rotation: Cole Hamels, John Lester, Yu Darvish, Jose Quintana, and Kyle Hendricks. Two of them have won Cy Youngs. Kyle Hendricks deserved to win a Cy Young in 2016, but lost to his teammate. The boom bust factor of that starting rotation to me is undeniable. They have a chance. They have a small chance to be the best rotation in the National League. They also have a large chance to totally bust out and be terrible like they were last season. So we're just going to have to see. But 79 wins.
The Pirates over them? Come on.
The Pirates and the Reds and the Cardinals and the Brewers.
Wow.
507-457-1615 is the phone number. What else? What else do you see there in the Pacoda projections that just has you scratching your head?
Everything else seems pretty legit. The Giants are just.
Giants
remember when they were unreal?
They were awesome.
So
they were
good.
winning They won three in 6 years, I think. They won every other year.
Yeah.
Like the Blackhawks. 507-457-1615 is the phone number. I mean, we're almost done here. We didn't take a single call.
It has the NL being not the best. It has 4 American League teams before any NL, or before 2 NL teams.
Which is crazy because Bryce Harper was an NL player last year, but he stayed on the NL side. Manny Machado was an AL player for much of his career and then moved to the NL, and he's in the NL as well. So you have the best talent on the NL side, not speaking of Mike Trout, but yeah, 507-457-1615. Come on, somebody call. 507-457-1615. We have a minute left in the squeeze.
The Twins over the Cubs. That's awesome. I like this.
I shouldn't have showed you Pacoda. But yeah, so it started out as Pacoda projected that they'd win 81 games. And then another one came out and said they were going to win 80 games. And then another one came out, and now we're down to 79. So we'll just see how that goes. 507-457-1615. Let's just, one more time, let's just run down what the Cubs have. They have an NL MVP who had a bad season last year, who was hurt last year, who is now back and healthy and better than ever. You have Javi Baez, who could have been an NL MVP if not for Christian Yelich exploding. He's back. You have Anthony Rizzo, multiple-time Silver Slugger, multiple-time Gold Glover. You have Kyle Schwarber, a dude who could literally hit 60 home runs. You have Ian Happ, Albert Almora, 2 top prospects in baseball. You have a very good starting rotation and a bullpen that's probably going to suck. So I'm not too happy about the bullpen. But, I mean, I love the Cubs. I'm the biggest homer for the Cubs possible. And I will watch every game, rain or shine, win or lose, this season, because that's just what I'll do with them. You can probably say the same thing. Are they going to win more than 79 games this year?
Yeah, but I kind of like this thing.
If you could bet, which you can't because you're a college athlete, you're not allowed to bet.
I would bet.
If you could bet, I would put my entire, I'll read that in a second. I will put my entire bank account on the fact that they're going to win more than 79 games this year. If I could bet, I can't bet because I'm not allowed to. Tim Rude, love the Cubs everyday lineup, but starting pitchers scare me. Big names, not much left in the tank. Good news is that starters are not as valuable in today's game. I think Tim Rude deserves to be in your chair. That's a pretty good point. That's a pretty good point. I agree. I get exactly what he's saying. I like what he said at the end there, but there's a big but because the Cubs bullpen isn't too great either. So it is a big boom or bust. They have a very good chance to boom. They also have a very good chance to bust. So we're just going to have to see how it plays out. And that was it, buddy.
It'd be interesting.
That's the squeeze. You won't be on the airwaves for 3 weeks. Maybe you'll call in. Maybe we'll have you call in for a segment or something. That'd be kind of fun. At a tennis match.
In a changeover.
That'd be kind of fun. So anything you want to say to the millions listening on the radio?
Enjoy these next couple of weeks. March Madness at its best. I think this is going to be a special tournament. All the big schools, Duke, all Michigan State, they're all powerhouses this year. So enjoy the week.
Okay. Thank you so much to James Cave and Tim Root for participating in the YouTube live stream chat. Be sure to subscribe and like on that YouTube channel. I will be back next week, Sunday from 11 to 1. Alec will be back in 3 long weeks. I'm going to miss you, buddy, but it'll be exciting once you come back. Actually, once you come back, we're going to start doing 3-hour shows. I've now set it on the air, so now we have to do it. We will be going from 11 to 2 o'clock. So thank you so much for listening, and we will be right back here next weekend at 11 o'clock, and we hope to see you there.